to the channel. Today what we're going to be talking about is diabetes and weightlifting, bodybuilding. I had one of you all ask me a question about that. They kind of went over to my Instagram and asked a question. So that's one of the ways that you can ask questions without being in the mainstream of questions and have people saying off the wall things to you. But we're going to talk about diabetes, and there's basically two forms of diabetes. There's stage 2, stage 1. And stage 2 is the one that's normally can be remedied. You can normally fix that by diet. If you diet like you should and do like you're supposed to be doing as far as the disease is concerned. A lot of times when you're overweight, that right there is one of those things that you're taking in too much sugars, and your bloodstream is getting saturated with glucose that it can't force into the cells because you are what they call insulin resistant with type 2 diabetes. Your body is still making insulin to push the glucose into the cells for energy, but it's not doing it. And exactly why it's not doing it, no one really knows why. So you have to be very aware of the amount of carbohydrates and amount of food that you eat that are basically simple carbohydrates. Simple carbohydrates are those carbohydrates that goes into the bloodstream quickly, and because of that, it elevates the blood sugar faster, which will make your numbers be off. So you most definitely want to be wary of those simple carbohydrates and try to stay with those complex carbohydrates, and those are carbohydrates that enters the bloodstream a lot slower, and it gives you energy over a long period of time. Unlike the simple carbohydrates, which give you an energy spike, you know, like you drinking, eating candy bars, drinking sugary drinks and stuff like that. You get that instant energy burst, and you just fall off. Whereas the complex carbohydrates, it's like it goes into the bloodstream at a slower pace, therefore giving you energy over a longer period of time, because it don't spike your insulin levels. And that's one thing you want to pretty much avoid, spiking your insulin levels and causing your glucose to rise rapidly. And your glucose, it goes up and down throughout the day. It depends on what you're doing and what you're eating. And because of that, the person with type 2 diabetes, like I said, they have to be very aware of what they eat at all times. Now, you have type 1 diabetes. There is no cure for that. There's nothing you can do to fix type 1 diabetes. That means your body is not making insulin at all. Once your body digests simple sugars or either complex carbohydrate, transform it into glucose into the bloodstream, you have no insulin to push that glucose into the cells to give it energy. You know, so you'll end up dehydrating and things like that. You can also dehydrate with type 2 diabetes, which will give you that feeling of thirst. But with type 1, once you lack insulin to push the glucose in the cell, that's a very dangerous state for you to be in, and that's a state that you eventually will die from. So you have to use medications to help you get the insulin into your body that it needs to push the glucose into the cells to have energy. Because other than that, the cells have no energy at all. Everything stops working. Your body is made up of all cells: heart, brain, kidneys, all of that. And this is just like a basics of how it works. Without the medication with type 1 diabetes, you pretty much can't live. And the question was, I'm gonna go back to type 2 again right quick. Even with type 2, there are medications to be taken, but simply because your body is still producing insulin, it's very important that you get your body weight down and control your diet. Whereas type 1, even with you controlling your diet, you're still not going to be able to make the insulin you need. Your body is no longer making the insulin, so you have to live off insulin injections to survive. Type 2, you know, you got a chance to try to get your body right, get yourself straight, and do what you have to do to survive with type 2. Just get that diet right, and if they give you medications to help you regulate your blood sugars, you know, by all means, take it. Take it until you are able to control it yourself through your diet and losing weight. Now, I've said all that to say this. Basically, the person wanted to know about getting bigger with diabetes. And what I'm gonna have to say is my opinion. I'm not a doctor with none of this. So you can take all of what I'm saying with a grain of salt. I'm not a doctor. You have to talk to your doctor if you got these issues. If you have diabetic issues, talk to your doctor and get yourself straight through them. But the question was, and this is my opinion, about gaining weight, about getting bigger and gaining weight with diabetes. And bodybuilding is not made for people with diabetes. I mean, you can do it, but it's virtually impossible for you to get bigger in a healthy way when you got diabetes, because bodybuilding itself, getting bigger itself, incorporates overdoing it. It incorporates overeating in order to gain extra weight that you would use to therefore stimulate greater muscle growth through lifting heavier weights because of the extra weight you have, which would allow you to balance off more weight. And in my opinion, if you have diabetes, trying to get bigger should be the last thing that you do, because it's not made for you. It's not made for you at all. It's very dangerous. Now, slimming down, lifting weights every day, staying in everyday shape, that's a good thing. That's what you want to do. That's how you want to maintain things. That's pretty much what you would want to try to avoid. Bodybuilding in a gaining weight type of thing, because it's like I said, everything you have to do for bodybuilding, as far as food is concerned, is overdoing it. I mean, you have to eat a lot more to try to get bigger. And when you're dealing with diabetes, that's not a healthy thing. The only difference between a professional bodybuilder with that massive weight that they have in a fat person is simply the look. You know, one look like they're healthy and one look like they're not healthy. But the bodybuilder suffers with high blood pressure, sleep apnea, and a lot of things like that because of all the extra weight. Your organs and stuff don't know the difference in weight. All it knows is that it has to pump a lot of blood. It has to pump a lot of blood through a massive body, whether it's fat or whether it's muscle. The body don't know the difference. So, in my opinion, if you have diabetes, your main concern should be diet, at all times, diet. Monitoring your blood sugar levels and concentrate on keeping your body weight down to normal levels. you know, you can always get that muscular look and stuff like that doing that. But even that requires you to omit a lot of things, and your blood sugars act a little strange when you're trying to get ripped, as they say. You know, even if you're at a decent body weight and you're trying to get rid of all that extra little fat, you know, that too can be dangerous for you when you have diabetes. So just trying to maintain everyday conditioning, trying to stay in shape, trying to help your body burn off that extra glucose by exercising. That's something you always want to do. But as far as bodybuilding is concerned, that's something it shouldn't even be a thought anymore, in my opinion. Just because it's not a safe thing to be trying to do. Anyway, that's what I want to talk to y'all about. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. And again, I'll be talking to you later.